Good afternoon, everyone. Great to be here. Very happy to be presenting on behalf of Field. Looking forward to a very short, quick 10-minute pitch to give you an overview of the platform and how we work as an organization. Just as a quick start, as a show of hands, can you let me know how many of you use AI on a regular basis to deliver your job at work? Surprisingly low, given we're a leading conference. When we ask teams that manage critical operational workforce on roads, utilities, construction companies, it's usually less than 5%. Right. Let me take you through Field as an AI-powered work execution platform and show you how we're bringing this technology to safety-critical industries. So a little bit about Field. We use cutting-edge AI. 3 areas of artificial intelligence are into the platform. So we use computer vision to help identify on-site conditions, language processing to translate what the spoken word into workflows to drive performance, and machine learning to train a model based on previous site conditions to help identify what's going on site. And we'll translate that into workflows and management information to drive performance within safety-critical industries. Providing immediate visibility at the point of work. So on-site conditions and videos that are captured at the point of work are directly pushed to supervisors, to managers, and built into a remote control center and command center to make better decisions. And we're backed by experts. The platform was built by Boston Consulting Group. We're led to market by Ontario Teachers Pension Plan as we've expanded globally to a number of clients. Speaking of those clients, so particularly from a highways transport sector, we're working across Colas, we're working across Kia, a few of the leading organizations on large-scale infrastructure projects, for OVL in the UK and abroad as well. So we're seeing an uptake as Field was built for the UK gas sector initially 4 years ago. We've then translated that product into different languages. We've taken that across different markets, and we've scaled it across different sectors. So transport, highways, rail sectors, construction and utilities as well in the UK, North America and Latin American markets, amongst others. So we're helping organizations, as I mentioned, that circa 5%, less than 5%, we're helping organizations transfer and evolve the execution of field work using digital systems. We still work with some customers, and we onboard them and we help improve ways of working who have no real documented processes on site to capture information, to drive quality and to improve safety practices. There's a few customers who have moved forward a little bit and they have some paper-based processes. So teams go out with 50 pieces of paper, they do some checklists at the start of the job, they do some checklists to evidence work quality, and then maybe they write down some notes, and then that may or may not make it back to a manager, but that's all information that's lost to a business. And then there's customers who have moved on to electronic forms. That paper's just been recreated in format on a digital checklist. Again, not very usable, not very insightful. Lots of compliance issues historically trying to manage teams to capture this information. What we're empowering is AI-driven data collection. So that information, instead of paper and digital forms, teams are using an application on any phone or tablet. They're videoing the site and talking through what they're going to be undertaking or talking through what they've completed. And we'll use artificial intelligence to analyze those videos, help identify on-site conditions, help identify quality control issues, and help identify issues around the way of working, be it a job delay or another area of challenge for a business. That video will be translated in real time to managers to improve that decision making. So AI-powered site intelligence. So as I mentioned, an application, what you see here is an example of one of the processes that we typically recreate within customers that we work with, an AI-powered risk assessment or an AI-powered site documentation and process. So teams video the site and talk through the activity that's going to be undertaken. What we do is initially, even before any AI analysis, there's a behavioral change for the team. So the accountability on me as somebody who's executing a dangerous, safety-critical task with high cost implications if it gets incorrect. The accountability on me, knowing that video is visible, it's documented, it's viewable for my line manager, my supervisor, and a safety manager is a lot higher. So the quality of how I set that site up and the processes that I will follow already lifts substantially from just doing that video. But we'll analyze that video with AI, the computer vision, language processing, and machine learning to help identify site conditions that maybe they didn't think about. Now, this is the front page was around paving the way for smarter highways maintenance. An area that we're seeing really common in the highways maintenance industry is not being aware of on-site conditions. Let's use an example, overhead cables. So contractor we work with sent a grab lorry under overhead cables, pull down the cable, significant impact, significant cost impact, impact to society and safety implications for the teams involved. We can use the video analysis to identify there's an overhead cable in real time. We can prompt to the teams, hey, you didn't say overhead cable, but we've seen it. Are you aware that there's an issue on site that needs attention? But we can also push that video to manager. Your team didn't mention overhead cables. We've seen it. This has got the hallmarks of an activity that could lead to an incident or could lead to a problem on site. So that leads to the third area, real-time governance. Managers and supervisors in real time can intervene. They can see that activity. I've been prompted, I get a ping through to my phone. Teams working on site, overhead cables. They haven't mentioned it. This looks dangerous. You can stop the job directly from the application. You can use that activity and that prompt to drive that performance and to drive quality into the job to make sure it's executed safely and productively as well. We have a series of workflows that are built into the application, triggered from that AI. You may need an overhead cable permit to be operating in that hazardous condition. You may need to capture specific control or quality information around that. So we can prompt that based on the AI detected hazard and challenge. But it's about more than that. It's delivering that end-to-end workflow right the way from pre-site checks to execution and then the roll-up of management information. So we've now deployed across highways, across several of our partners, Colas, Kia, amongst others, for it to capture the end-to-end to drive significant productivity benefits, but also quality improvements. And we're focusing on value drivers. Specifically, what we're seeing in this industry is rework and replan jobs due to cancellations, unforeseen circumstances, and quality issues on site. So the end-to-end process that we're delivering are pre-site inspection checklists, where operatives or inspectors go to site, video the planning information. We've got a tarmac job in this area. There's a barrier repair. These are the site conditions. These are the street works information that's needed. We'll analyze that video with AI, identify location insights, critical information that's needed, and we'll surface that to planners to make sure they have all the information they need to plan the job effectively. The operational team will then go to site, execute that job. They'll undertake video-based site assessments that will cross-check it with the original planning information. Has anything new come up that they hadn't foreseen? Is it a different circumstance? And we can start to compare the pre-site information with the on-site information. We'll then alert teams if there's a blockage or if there's an issue completing the job and there's prevention from finishing the activity as it's planned using our job blocker functionality. Managers will get real-time insights to say teams are being productive, unproductive, there's a problem on this activity, and we can use AI to detect when jobs are taking longer than expected. And then wrapping up an activity at the end of the day, a quality check and a quality video, or this feature and bit of the workflow is used to capture how teams are performing. Let's say it's that barrier repair, site's completed, site is safe. We'll use Gen AI to summarize what's been done. We'll use our integrations with typically scheduling and work management systems to push data into asset databases. So you start to improve the data quality that you have about your assets. We can actually pin that information based on our integration. We can pin video information to asset databases so you can start to get a better picture of information about how your assets are performing and the quality and condition of those assets on site. But that end-to-end is a typical example from a working day for a field operative in highways maintenance. That's rolled up to managers who have that immediate visibility, but rolled up further to executive insights. So you can see quality issues, you can see performance management data and management information, and you can use that to drive significant productivity improvements, quality improvements, and safety outcomes. Our records to date are 50% reduction in incidents and injuries across our client space. We're seeing a 10% improvement in productivity across field work, and we're seeing spans of control change from supervision, from remote supervision, improving by 25% across highways maintenance organizations that we're working with. So, 10 seconds to spare. Thank you very much. Pretty good timing, I would say, and then over to you for the next one.
Round of applause. I mean, really exciting. If you're only touching 5% at the moment, Joshua, Exciting times for you, isn't it? Really, good luck. That's really exciting to hear that work. So next up we have Kyriakos Kantarakias. So he runs Didimi, that's right. And I think there's a film in this, colleagues on AI. So if you can help in terms of pressing that play, over to you, Kyriakos. Thank you.
I'm Kyriakos Kantarakias. I'm the founder and CEO of Didimi. Our company works around infrastructure assets. And one of the biggest problems we noticed was initially a very big confusion as to what a digital twin actually is. I'll start from this very, very simple definition of what we actually mean by it. There is a physical asset, there is a digital asset. You extract information from the physical asset, and then you apply some type of action to derive value into the physical asset. That's not particularly exciting. This has existed since the 1960s, in essence, before the internet as well. But people have managed to kind of skew this value, and a lot of consultants in the space have contributed to the confusion as to something magical is going to happen when you actually start using these amazing digital twins. What is the main problem when we deal with infrastructure and digital twins? It's actually the supply chain itself. You have the government, who's the client in infrastructure, or some commercial customer in actual commercial buildings. And then you have contractors, consultants, and a huge supply chain across many, many different principles of engineering. A digital twin for a supply chain like this is not technically impossible, but it's impossible from a business use case perspective. Who buys it? Who pays it? And what is it used for? When and how and when and why? It's completely unclear questions at the moment. Now, to avoid completely trashing the industry, there are 3 types of digital twins that currently are in operation in that space. Some of those are built around specific use cases. The classic one is you have a digital twin of a building and you kind of try to optimize the thermal performance of the thing. You may have an asset class specific digital twin, which is you have a highway, and then you try to create some type of digital replica and do value. And then you have customer specific digital twins, where there's a lot of replicability. Again, think of a digital twin of an AWS data center. They're all more or less the same, so there it's kind of easier, and you have one customer, more or less the same contractors delivering it. Now, what's the reality in practice? You have a life cycle of the asset from the design to construction, operation, maintenance, and the retrofitting of the asset itself. And every time that you actually go through one of these life cycles, the customer changes, the user changes, the software tools, and the types of data that you need actually change. And this is the problem that we started with. How do we solve this incredible data confusion and misalignment of who actually realizes the ROI of the investment? So in this case, we think that it is inevitable to have an agentic world where you have different small individual digital twins depending on the life cycle and who the actual customer is. And somehow all of these are going to need to speak to each other, and we're going to need to hand over those individual small digital twins from one person to the other, depending on who's actually living in the asset. And this is where the true value of what we're doing actually lies. Now, this is more or less the current stack at a very, very abstract level of any technological asset. You need to survey the thing, you need to model it in either some computer-aided design system or some building information style system. You need to have some systems of record where you hold the operational data of the system itself. And then you need to do something with it, either via some IoT-style sensor and the machine learning use cases that we see right now. And anytime there's communication between all of those two, there's a huge information loss that happens because all of the different software systems do not speak well to each other at all. And this is where we come as a company to get to any time that the information has to exchange hands, we actually can guarantee that it will do so in the right way without losing any data. Now, to leave a bit from the abstract world, right now handover looks like I deliver a bunch of files to someone, and then they have to do something with it. The contractor hands over the asset, they give the files to the operator, good luck, go and pay a consultant to make some good use of it. And then on our side, the way that we think about it is that all of this needs to be stored in a single data structure that sits on the cloud. And then it's up to us to ensure that whatever software, whoever the next person that gets the handover actually uses, actually makes the information useful. And let's look at this from the perspective of a use case. This is the job that we did together with a highways contractor here in the UK. They're called Costain. They've been building highways forever. And here we went through 2 life stages. Let's first of all survey the highway, and then let's design a maintenance job around it. What we did is that we worked with car manufacturers to capture data about the highway at scale, directly from the vehicles, and use that to construct a 3D model of the highway where we understand where all of the different data assets are, where are all the potholes, where are all the defects, where are all the traffic signs, where is everything in this highway. And let's put that in a 3D understanding, and then let's make that useful for the design of the work itself. Again, different customers, National Highways cares for the maintenance bit, the contractor cares for the work that they will actually do. And then we imported all of that data into the 3D design systems that they have, in this case, Civil 3D and Open Roads, some tools that people use to design and maintain roads, and made sure that they speak very, very well and very, very efficiently to each other. How do you onboard all of this 3D data that you capture from passenger vehicles on the road at scale in an anonymized way and onboard it into highways maintenance systems, and then make sure that they speak very well to each other? Now, since there's a bit more time, again, sorry for the technical error, a good way to think about what we're doing is that there is a data ownership issue at every single aspect of the supply chain. National Highways needs the data for very different reasons than the contractor that actually delivers the work, and those 2 people need to speak to each other. And right now, every time they need to speak to each other, there is a humongous information loss that happens. That's an opportunity for bespoke consultants to come in and sell essentially really, really bad services. And what we do is that we make sure that we sell software that does this in a fully automated way, fully managed on the cloud, and this delivers hundreds of thousands of pounds of ROI. This is the value proposition of the DDMI, and let's leave some time for questions.
Afternoon, everybody. So my name's Neil Henderson. I'm the founder of the Virtual Tour Experts, and in the next 10 minutes or so, I just want to introduce how our unique technology and concepts are offering some new opportunities in the world of travel planning. We photograph and build virtual tours for a variety of spaces, environments and locations, and that's anything from the Svalbard Seed Vault in the North Pole to the University of Cambridge. But for this particular presentation, I want to talk about our transport product, which so far has provided critical planning information to over 35,000 users. I'm sure a shared goal of everyone here is to improve accessibility. And there are numerous solutions available for wayfinding or for finding solutions in situ. But our focus is very much on the planning stage of a user's journey. There's currently a lack of accessible digital planning information, and particularly bringing all that information into one place. And planning is critical to ensure users can navigate safely and easily, particularly those with disabilities. Our solution not only helps people navigate between 2 points, but it provides a better understanding of the help, the facilities, and the processes needed to complete a successful journey. The key to our success so far has been engaging with accessibility groups and those with real lived experiences, and that will be key to our success going forward. Our product is constantly evolving and will continue to do so, but so far we're really proud that we are making a positive difference. Some of the figures that you can see in front of you here are taken from our rail tours and are gathered from their accessibility panels. We've got a variety of features, but in 10 minutes I won't have time to go through all of those, so I just want to focus on a couple of the key elements we have and how they are unique. First, I'll talk about our image capture. We have a unique process to get high-resolution images of real-world environments where we strip out all obstacles and people, although we tend to keep the staff in. This gives users a pixel-perfect view of every facility and the entire environment. And next I want to talk about personalization. Most of the features that you can see here can be adapted by users to suit their personal preferences and their needs. And it's this level of customization that ensures each user gets the content they need quickly and easily and in a format that's most appropriate to them. Lastly, for today, I'd just like to touch on the subject of our conference tool. This tool allows people to join with others online, and the presenter can then guide them through the virtual environment with real-time two-way interaction. Users can move around those spaces independently, or the presenter can guide them through the space. A quick use case scenario would be Exeter Airport, who we're working with at the moment, are planning to use this tool as an addition to the real-world tours that they give to accessibility groups. And they can theme this too. So for example, they're looking at doing hosted tours for groups of neurodiverse passengers. They can give them those tours, highlight the elements that are of relevance, answer questions in real time, and those can be recorded and replayed in future. Now, whilst for today I can't actually, unfortunately, kind of do a walkthrough of the tour, I've just gathered some screenshots to try and give you an idea of one of the experiences we've created recently for Exeter Airport and how that's meeting some of the user needs. Every design that we create is user-focused, so we work with the user groups, and they're all customized. But the key is at the beginning, we're giving the user the ability to adapt their experience so they're going to get the correct content. On the example you can see in front of you here in the top right, we have the option to define your accessibility settings. So just as you would on a website, you can change your font, the contrast, color, etc. And we have the option to have a British Sign Language version of the tour. In that instance, all the narrators and all the content will be delivered by a BSL translator. And for this example, we want to make sure that people are at the right point for their journey, so they can define if it's a departure or arrival, where they're starting their journey, are they getting a taxi there, a bus, or are they arriving at the car park, and whether or not they may need assistance on their journey. Once they've put in all these elements, it's going to customize the experience that they get. And this would be typically the beginning of that 360 virtual tour experience. We often use aerial 360 views because we find they're a brilliant way for people to quickly understand a space and an environment. And it also looks beautiful. Generally, everything looks great once we get in the air. Through the experience, also, it's important that we have calls to action. A lot of our clients want to be able to generate revenue from these as well. And you can see on this particular tour, they've got a prompt in the top right to encourage people to book their up parking in advance. All the designs are branded, the menus are customized, so people have got quick access to the various tools they need. And on this particular one in the bottom left there, we have a wayfinding tool that would guide people through the airport with or without step-free access, and also an interactive map. We're now starting to explore the environment slightly more, so this may be on an autoplay or people are actually clicking through. And there's 3 additional features that you can see on the right here from an accessibility perspective. One of the main ones that we've introduced recently is the use of ambient sounds. So this was a significant amount of feedback from our neurodiverse users, and this is very relevant to the train station tours that we do. The idea that if you're walking over a bridge or you're on a platform, it's great to get an idea of what those things sound like, to rehearse them and to familiarise yourself. We've also got the ability to add distances, nothing particularly new there, but quite nice to have that integrated so people know how far it is from this point to any major elements nearby. But the day and night view was really interesting as well. So we captured the entire environment during the day, and then we cut those same shots at night. And this was really important for a lot of our users around the train stations and other environments when they got outside. Depending on the time of year or the time of day that you're traveling, it may feel like a completely different environment. So they've got that opportunity to switch between the two. On this slide, we've kind of activated every possible information option, so it looks a little busy, but users will be able to initiate the stuff that they want. In the bottom corner, we have a narrator. That could be in English, or in this example, we've chosen the British Sign Language option, so we have a sign language interpreter. And they're going to give you a description of the scene, and that's synchronized with movement, so it tells you what happens and what to expect. We've got various information hotspots. You can click on those to find out how things work. But importantly, we want people to go through the environment, but we want them to understand what you actually do when you're there. So those video prompts will show you how you actually function and what you do when you get to a particular stage. So in this example, how does the assistant desk work? What do I have to do to check in? What's the process and what happens? And then we've got the check-in desks as well. So we've got various wayfinding options. We also have interactive maps, and we can integrate with Google Maps, Google 3D Maps, and other features. But these elements allow people to explore and then click on those elements and go into that particular environment. Virtual tours are quite unique. They're a unique medium to explore a space, an environment, or a location through an interactive, 360, user-led, it's very important this user-led experience. And the features that we had and continue to develop significantly affect the planning experience. Sorry. Crucially, what we're trying to do is give passengers better confidence, so they can feel more confident in their ability to conduct a journey with increased independence. And the tours themselves combine the benefits of multiple media into one medium. So you have the benefits of immersive media, digital twins, photography, narration, video, and audio. And we have a content management system so the client can also update all of this media so that it's accurate and up to date. Looking ahead to this year, we've got a number of new features being added to the platform, which we're really excited to share. But primarily for us, it's about continuing to meet and exceed the needs of our users. Thank you very much.